Episode 4 of Ron Kamonohashi's Forbidden Deductions begins where we left off. Ron says that Amamiya is innocent and that he can prove it. The instructor from Blue sees this as his chance to catch Ron, but the latter immediately says that that is what Ishiki would say to solve the case. The instructor and Ishiki are both stunned. Ron borrows from Ishiki's reactions, adds his own deductions, and presents the analysis as if he is speaking on behalf of Ishiki. The secret story of the Benizome and the red water are the keys to finding the culprit. Ron goes ahead to explain that since Amamiya did not see the pamphlet with the story on, she could not have replicated it. Ron proceeds to pretend he is speaking on Ishiki's behalf. The woman with the blonde bob retorts that when she was heading to her room after dinner the previous night, she spotted a white mist emanating from the river. Ron calls Ishiki over at the riverside to show that he's finally located the ping-pong ball. As Ron is figuring out a way to extract the ball, Ishiki and Ron spot a bath mat adjacent to the river. Amamiya comes to offer her thanks to Ishiki, but she is unable to fully say it out loud. She assigns Ishiki as the lead for the investigation since she is still a suspect. Ishiki is surprised and goes to offer his thanks, to which Amamiya fires back, saying she is only doing so because no one else is around. She mutters that she has had a string of bad luck since yesterday from the moment she walked into the wrong bathhouse. The police arrive at the scene and investigation is underway. Ron heads to his room and the blue instructor follows him shortly after and spies on him from the next room. But Ron does not move in his room. Ishiki comes back to the room and informs that the woman died due to a heart failure. Her husband had mentioned that she had a heart condition. She would often have fits. Ron slams on the wall, which the blue instructor is listening from. Ishiki proceeds to say that the temperature difference caused the heart failure. Shortly after, everyone once again gathers at the crime scene. Once there, Ishiki proceeds to solve the case. He says it was a murder and that the culprit is among those present. Ishiki says that the husband killed her, but he protests in denial. Ishiki says that while the husband was in the lounge to set up an alibi, he had already set a trap for his wife. He placed the bath mat over a pit in such a manner that she would fall. She had poor vision and could not see well without her glasses. When Amamiya points out that perhaps that fall was not enough for the thermal shock, Ishiki says it could be the case that the bath was filled with freezing cold water. Ishiki then shows a hollow bamboo pipe. He explains that there was a slight elevation difference in the river and the bath. The husband used that bamboo pipe to direct the flow of the hot and cold water. That steam that the guests saw the previous night was the effect of the hot water hitting the cold river water. Ishiki then further adds that since the fallen leaves were less in number, the husband must have procured more to cover his tracks and mislead everyone into thinking it was the curse. The husband protests, saying it is not possible for a man to sneak into a woman's bath. Ishiki explains that when the husband heard that the men would be playing ping-pong, he took the chance to swap the bath curtains so that he could prepare his trap undetected. This is why Amamiya ended up at the men's bath. When the husband protests more, Ishiki says that the husband's fingerprints would still be present on the curtain rods. The husband accepts defeat. He apologizes to Michio, aka the woman with short blonde hair. It turns out the husband and Michio were having an affair, and Ishiki is agitated. As a result, the husband is arrested. Ishiki looks around to find Ron and follows a figure into the woods thinking it is him. Turns out the figure was the blue instructor. Ron is tied up to a tree, and the instructor introduces himself as Spitfire, a tracking instructor at Blue. Ron says that he has his eyes on Spitz since the moment he won the raffle. He also says that the case was solved by Ishiki, but Spitz contradicts, saying that Ishiki is a fool who did not even notice him. Ron asks for proof of Spitz's claims and also goes to call Spitz incompetent in his profession. Ishiki urges Ron to not anger Spitz. Spitz says that if Ron agrees to sleuthing, he could ask for a lighter sentence. Ron questions Spitz if he has the authority to do so, going on to explain how there's more to Spitz's story than what he is letting on. Ron presents three possibilities: that either Spitz has made a bet, has been threatened or is in need of Ron's abilities. Spitz accepts defeat and offers Ron a job. He says that he got into Blue with the objective of finding the best detective to find his missing family. Ron rejects the job, saying that he cannot trust Spitz. Spitz offers to earn Ron's trust by helping him and Ishiki in the cases henceforth. When Ron asks for more, Spitz offers a happy coat. Ishiki asks Ron to consider Spitz's offer. Spitz thanks Ishiki and applauds his deduction in the earlier case. Ron says that despite Spitz's gratitude, he cannot trust him. If Spitz betrays Ron, he would be done for. But even then he is ready to wait and see because Ishiki thinks Spitz is a good guy. Ishiki asks if Ron has any plan, and Ron replies that he does. He plans to use Spitz and his skills until Spitz drops. Ishiki thinks to himself that Ron would never abandon anyone in trouble. Ishiki thanks Ron for helping Amamiya. Ron says that he was merely doing his duty. The scene cuts to a dark apartment building. A man in a white sleeveless hoodie opens a fridge door lined with beer cans. The man smirks and the episode ends. The episode review, episode 4 of Ron Kamonohashi's Forbidden Deductions, moves the story ahead slightly. We finally find out the identity and purpose of the tracking instructor from Blue. The case about his missing family will be an interesting bit to watch as and when it unfolds. Since he offered his services to Ishiki and Ron, it remains to be seen how that fares, especially with the looming danger of Spitz betraying them. The last few seconds of the episode leave a lot to imagine. Who is that man? Why was he there in the dark building complex all by himself? Whatever that will be, it will definitely be engaging to see Ron and Ishiki back at sleuthing again. Say what you will, but there is no one like Ron. He figured out the Spitz was tailing them from the start. I especially like how he pretended there was an insect and hit the wall to audibly stun Spitz in the next room.